Good afternoon. Oh, I like that. Welcome to the Wednesday, December 17, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Public Education. Before we start today, we have a little bit of levity in considering the holiday season. The board has a sartorial statement to make. Everyone show your bling. Go get it. Oh, okay, okay. Or stand and show your outfit. Let's go.
Oh, man.
Here we go. Here we go. Snoopy tie.
Go get your.
Come on.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a festive vest with a curly ribbon crocheted by my mother-in-law,
There you go.
and it has a matching chapeau.
Ooh.
There you go.
Okay, Mr. Kaczmar. Come on.
I'm wearing Christmas boxers. It would be inappropriate.
In Europe right now would decide to throw this to me.
Dr. Watts, show your bling. Yes. And by the way, the Temptations coming from our capital projects, please stand. Okay, Ms. Campbell? Santa, okay.
And the earrings. Oh, and gloves and earrings.
Yeah. There we go.
The Christmas plaid and the Christmas swag.
Yeah,
I got my Christmas jingles that were my informal.
there you go. Thank you, guys. So now I would ask you all stand for the national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good afternoon. Today we are so delighted to have Selena Wilkins. She is a junior at Beach High School. I'm going to say this very slowly so I enunciate all the plans that she has for her career, and you'll see why in a moment. But Selena is a junior at Beach High School, but she will be graduating early in May, and her plans are to attend Ogeechee Tech in Statesboro to become an EKG tech. And then she wants to go on to study and become a cardiovascular stenographer. So she has great plans indeed, but she is also a very vital member of the Beach High School Chorus, which is directed by Mr. Emmanuel Bulalakau. So we are thrilled to have her, and I would ask that you would please stay standing after the national anthem for the Pledge of Allegiance.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's hear it again for our soloist today. All right. I'll accept a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
All right. Announcements. Nope. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so excited after that. Solo. It's been moved by Dr. Hosensbrough. Oh, by Paul. Seconded. Yeah, Vice President Smith. And Ms. Campbell seconded? Okay. We're without some, our board docs are down, so we're having to do things old school today. All right. Thank you. All right. So it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? All right. All right. Now we have announcements. Okay. Students, I know you're going to be happy about this, and staff as well. Our winter break, December 22nd through January 2nd. January 5th, staff is here for Staff Planning Day. No school for students. January 6th, students return to school. January 7th is the economic luncheon at the Convention Center. January 10th is our Student Success Expo and STEAM Festival. And next year, it will be held at the Davis Edwards Harris Educational Complex. January 14th is our Finance Committee. We'd like to thank the Godley Station School Council for their letter issued in October requesting a review of our discipline policy. The board has received this letter and has responded to council indicating that a review of policy would take place in second semester. We will alert school council of any changes to policy that may come because of this work. And finally, January 14th is our January school board meeting. Remembrances, we have one today. Janet Burns from Largo Tibet Elementary, date of passing 11/26/25. If we would stand for a moment of silence. Dr. Watts.
Thank you. Very excited to be able to acknowledge and celebrate our November Student of the Month. The Superintendent Student of the Month for the month of November is a senior at the School of Liberal Studies at Savannah High School. This student has demonstrated remarkable academic growth and perseverance since arriving at Savannah High School, increasing her overall GPA while taking rigorous course loads and classes, including multiple honors and advanced placement classes. Her progress in mathematics and science reflects both effort and resilience, while her advancement in English from standard to now AP, advanced placement level coursework, she shows deep commitment to literacy and learning. Whether analyzing literature or mastering the technical skills of her nail technology pathway, this scholar embraces challenges as opportunities to gain experience. Her steady improvement across disciplines highlights her determination, her focus, and evolving confidence as a scholar. Her nominator said she, quote, embodies the power of literacy to transform lives. With an 86.75 GPA and a strong record of achievement in honors and AP courses, she has proven herself to be a dedicated and resilient scholar. Beyond academics, she uses her love of language, art, and poetry to build bridges between people and ideas. As an active member of the Deep Center, she mentors young writers, and she also collaborates with peers from across the district to amplify student voice. Her selection as a featured student speaker at the SCCPSS Lit Talks shows her ability to use words to inspire and heal, reflecting courage and authenticity. Our student is an active and engaged contributor to her school and the Savannah community. She volunteers at the Frank Callan Boys and Girls Club, tutoring elementary students, and supports district events like our annual Books, Blankets, and Family Fun event, helping to promote family literacy and community connections. Her service reflects a genuine commitment to learning, leadership, and the belief that literacy can strengthen every community that she touches. When asked what drives her to succeed, our scholar turned to her own spirit, her internal spirit of resilience, to answer. When all seems hopeless and you're at every wit's end, you can always pick up a pencil and try again. It's beautiful. Please join me in congratulating Kiana Mitchell, the Superintendent Student of the Month for November.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Congratulations, fantastic.
Kiana will be taking home several gifts from our sponsors, including Members First Credit Union, Advertising Specialties, Georgia Southern University, Gulfstream, Savannah Technical College, and the Savannah Schools Federal Credit Union. In addition, Kiana and her ELA class will receive copies of her favorite book, The Skin I'm In, by Sharon G. Flake, donated by our sponsor, E. Shaver Bookseller. Again, please join me in congratulating Kiana, her family, who I would love to have stand, as well as her school family. So much. Keep up the really great work, Kiana. I will continue today by highlighting several other opportunities, events, and people within our district that gives us cause for applause. I'll start off with a big kudos to the Islands High School FFA chapter on its annual November Community Service Project. This effort this year was a record-breaking success, collecting over 4,500 items to support individuals experiencing homelessness through Old Savannah City Mission. Fantastic job, scholars. Also extending congratulations to Sol C. Johnson High School Visual Arts teacher and department chair, Sarah Pasquale, for being selected as an Art Effect Ambassador for the 2025-26 term. This prestigious visual arts fellowship is for educators working directly with students in grades 6 through 11. This year's ambassadors will participate in a year-long series of online professional development sessions, learning from other high-level practitioners in a collegial peer learning community. Well done, Ms. Pasquale. Hats off to the SCCPSS Student Nutrition Program for their designation as a Georgia Farm to School awardee for the school year 24-25. the Georgia Department of Education School Nutrition Division with the Georgia Department of Agriculture, University of Georgia Extension, and the Georgia Department of Public Health annually recognizes outstanding farm-to-school programs. We certainly appreciate the work of our school nutrition specialists who introduce our students to new flavors, colors, and taste in an exciting and special, fun way. Congratulations. Also, extending a round of applause to Hannah Richmond from the Savannah Arts Academy for her first place finish in the Junior American Traditions Competition. Hats off to Megan Borges, Olivia Wilder, and Elise Stuchel, all students at Savannah Arts Academy, for placing in the competition as well. These students worked very hard on their preparation and delivered complete, polished, and poised final performances. 4 School of Liberal Arts studies at Savannah High School students will be advancing to the 2025 AGC Georgia Skills Challenge. This is a statewide workforce development initiative organized by the Associated General Contractors of Georgia. Hendrika Williams is a state qualifier, finishing in 3rd place in the Southeast Region Individual Welding Competition. The team of Isaac Mendez, Zion Worthen, and Marcus Pickney will advance their welding fabrication team to state after finishing in 1st place in the Southeast Region. I hope our operations team is taking note of those names, future employees in our district. Please join me in congratulating Miss Penny Maggione, SCCPSS social worker. Miss Maggione has been named the first District School Social Worker of the Year. School social workers are recognized annually as the School Social Worker of the Year in their districts by the School Social Workers Association of Georgia. Ms. Maggione will now go on to compete at the state level for the opportunity to be recognized as the 2026 State School Social Worker of the Year. We wish her the best of luck. Georgia Youth Science and Technology Centers recently named their 2026 Don Cargill STEM Scholars, and SCCPSS is one of only 3 districts statewide with 2 winners. Hubert Middle School teacher, Dr. Serene Lee, and New Hampstead K-8 school teacher, Sam Sachs, have been recognized for their outstanding efforts to engage and improve student learning in STEM disciplines. Each of these dedicated teachers will receive a $500 grant in January to be used to purchase STEM education materials for their classrooms. Savannah Arts Academy was crowned Class 2A state champions after competing in the GHSA one-act play competition on Saturday, November 15th, 2025. The Georgia High School Association Class AA one-act play competition is a regional and state-level event where high schools perform a fully staged play within a 55-minute time limit. In addition, several Savannah Arts Academy students received honors at the state level. Tyler Shaw was named Best Actor, and Asia Clark and Edward Austin Bradford were also named to an all-star cast. Congratulations to our finance team on receiving the prestigious 25 through 26 Meritorious Budget Award from the Association of School Business Officials International. The award recognizes districts for excellence in budget presentations and those who present an accessible and accurate budget that builds trust and clearly communicates with stakeholders. We appreciate your dedication and commitment to upholding nationally recognized budget presentation standards. And finally, congratulations to the Jenkins High School girls flag football team who advanced to play in the Division II Georgia High School Association State Championship game at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. The team made it to the big game after winning in semifinals with strong performances, including 2 wins by a score of 34-0 and 27-7. The championship game was played on Monday, December 15th, against Greenbrier High School. Our student athletes showed amazing skill, team leadership, and, most important, great sportsmanship. We are so proud of the Jenkins High School girls flag football team and commend you, each and every one of you, and your coaches on a great season. Today, the team and coaches are here as we celebrate this achievement, and we ask that they come forward now to shake hands with the board.
Y'all look sharp. Congratulations. Oh my gosh. You look sharp. Congratulations.
Great job, great job.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
Great job. Congratulations. Doing great. Yeah, exactly. Right behind.
Yeah. Jenkins?
I'll jump into it.
Yes. Yes.
When we were making announcements, I think we forgot our fantastic student expo on January
No,
10th.
I announced it.
Did you mention? Oh, I don't see it here on my, I'm looking at my.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, and now we will hear from our professional senate.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Moss. I apologize for my tardiness. In the great words of Mr. Paul Smith, he may not be there when you want him, but he'll always be there on time. With this report, the Superintendent's Professional Senate met on November 22nd, 2025, from 4:15 to 5:15 p.m. at Windsor Forest High School. Deputy Superintendent Stacy Tittle presented the district's 5-year strategic plan. Teachers of the Year and Instructional Support Persons of the Year met in small groups to share ideas and visions to support students and the community that we serve. The Superintendent's Professional Senate looks forward to meeting with and working with Ms. Taylor in the future, not only to give further feedback, but to also listen to her well-anticipated rap song that goes along with this initiative. That is your Superintendent's Professional Senate report.
Thank you very much. Ms. Hedeker?
All right, thank you all so much. Continuing on your agenda, again, for the viewing audience, we are having a little technical difficulty. So the agenda board docs will be updating that appropriately based on the actions of the board today. So you don't see it displayed in front of you. Of course, we'll be tracking very closely the votes of the board. I know all hands will be raised very high for those affirmative votes so we can count them appropriately. We do have a few items under board matters for the board's review, a few policies that are first readers. First one is item 6.01 of Board of Education Matters. This is a 4-year review, board policy BHB nepotism, and there are no policy changes recommended for this policy review. Subject to the board's final review here and feedback, if there are none, we will consider this one done and reviewed under our 4-year process.
Any? Continue.
Thank you, sir. Moving along in your agenda, item 6.02, this is Board Policy BBI. This is Board Staff Relations. Also, under the review of this policy, under the 4-year review process, we have no changes to language. So nothing of substance has been changed, just a few minor formatting and grammatical components, but no changes to language. Therefore, reviewing this policy subject to the final feedback of the board today, we will consider this one also completed under review under the 4-year review process.
Moving on. Continue.
Moving on your agenda, item 6.03, Board Policy BCBH. This is board meeting minutes. This is a first reader for the Board of Education. Again, this is part of the 4-year review process. We did find a few places in this policy to provide some clarifications. One area you'll specifically see where revisions were provided to ensure the role of board members present at meetings. You'll find that as a requirement that actually comes through the Georgia Open Meetings Law statute area. We have added that in, and also under the recommendation of the board attorney, we did add a clarification line about minutes as they are applicable to committees. First reader.
Any comment? Thank you. Move on.
Board Policy 6.04. This is Board Policy GANA, Infectious Diseases. You'll see here minor changes here. Just again, this review was done. Staff found no necessary need for changes. Board attorney did recommend that in one area we also add the word "and students," because clearly if we are dealing with concern on the school level that is impacting staff, if the same rule would apply for students. So that those words have been changed. Minor change on this particular policy section. This will come back though for the board's final adoption in a second review in January. So this is first read under Board Policy GANA.
Any comments? Thank you.
Moving along, Board Policy GBA. This is item 6.05. Professional Personnel Compensation Guides and Contracts. You will see that there was a number of revisions in this particular policy area and regulation. So this is a first reader. We'll come back for a second. The driver on this was, first of all, there were some references to departments that needed to be cleaned up, so proper titling was changed, a few just minor grammatical fixes. But you'll also see that the main change in here was really based on the word additives, and this is a new component of the compensation plan, which came about after we did an extensive review with Hanover. The board will be familiar with our discussions and our changes in compensation and the recommendations we took after a extensive compensation study of the district. So this now is some of the policy language that comes as a final cleanup to be in alignment with our current practices. This is a first read. Sorry, correction, that was Evergreen, not Hanover, that did the compensation study. Thank you.
Ms. Grabowski and Dr. Hoskins-Brown.
Thank you. Under the salary schedules, one of the words that was added in that third paragraph was major changes to salary schedules. Do we have a threshold as to what constitutes major?
Definition of major.
I'll take that as enough.
Yeah, so we'll go back and define that. Thanks for pointing that out. Obviously, I think the nature of the language is really to try to draw a focus area to those broad, impactful changes. If we have to stipulate a particular threshold in there, even from a dollar standpoint, we can look at that. But thank you. Ambiguous in the way written, and we will look further into that.
Maybe it's a percentage or something like that, because I know a dollar could be, but anyways. And then the other question I had, so in the language for the additives, it does say that the eligibility amount and administration would be in the regulations. Do we have similar, but I don't see similar language, unless I overlooked it, under supplemental pay? Do we have a schedule that's affiliated with supplemental pay in the same way that we are proposing for the salary additives?
No, the salary additives were coming from Evergreen. Nothing was really done on the supplemental pay. The supplemental pay hasn't really changed. Those are determined typically by the, in consultation with HR. It just depends on the type of role that happens on the supplemental side. So it's not, those are additional duties as opposed to the additive. Those are actually permanent positions that relates to.
So, for example, if you are a coach, is that covered under supplemental pay?
Yes, that would be on the
And is there an
supplemental.
established salary for a
Yes.
coaching position?
Or if you're, yes, you have a soccer coach, it's a certain amount. If you're the head coach of a soccer, a certain amount. If you're a head coach of football, a certain amount. If you're an assistant, there's a certain amount. All that's publicized, so
Okay.
everybody knows what that is. And schools really can't deviate from that. So if you have an assistant baseball coach at Jenkins, they're going to be paid the same as assistant baseball coach at a different school.
So then we do have a scheduled.
Yes.
We do have a schedule.
For that, for those, yeah, for coaches. For athletic coaches, yes, we have a schedule.
Because we've talked about it with clubs, we've talked
have-
about it with a number of different.
We have academics, so those are academic content. We have those as well. So that is something that's also a schedule. That's something that we just, I think it's probably about 2 years we've been doing that.
Okay, I guess, I'm
Do you
using
want
those as
to-
examples, but what I'm
Yeah.
trying to get to is we've had conversations about there may not be equity between schools in which positions receive compensation, which ones don't. And so I don't know if formalizing that perhaps through regulation could be helpful. I just think it's something that we
Okay.
should consider.
Yes, we can
We
actually
have a
work to add that.
document- Don't we have a
Yeah,
document
we have the
that outlines
document,
all
but
of
we're
it that
not.
we can also
Yeah.
send out?
We can send it
Okay,
out,
so
but
we
I
do
guess.
have a schedule.
But,
We do have a schedule, we do.
but
I guess, but it would
Are
depend
you-
on what position you're talking. I
Right.
can't say that
If you could
everything
send
is
it, that'd be
covered.
helpful.
we have it for the academic, and we can send out and let you know what that is. If you're saying, if you're suggesting we put it in here, we certainly could list that because we'll keep it, we can keep the title the same and list it, and list the athletics to say that those two, are standard throughout the district. But there's just other opportunities or other positions that may not be. We can't do everything, but those do exist.
Okay, if you could send what we have, that would be
Yes.
helpful. Thank you.
We'll do that.
Ms. Brown?
Thank you. I have questions about just two changes. One is there a legal definition or another reason that was necessary that we eliminated the term interim and everything became acting?
Not illegal, just an operational. I think when Dr. Watts came, she had a concern about why we had staff listed as interim in their title. You may recall we would have titles of people listed interim. We don't have interim in people's titles anymore. It's more in the background. So in other words, you're interim for a year, but you don't really have that title. It's not on your email. It's not anywhere. Acting was always in the policy, as you can see. Acting is just more formalized, that we're trying to make sure people understand the difference between what was interim and what is acting, where acting is kind of a role that maybe we don't know if the person is going to stay. Maybe it's just something that, came up and we put the person in the position and they'll have an opportunity to apply, but it's not something that they necessarily went through an interview process for. So acting is more of a emergency type situation that acting will occur versus interims are pretty much, we know they applied, or at least, or the superintendent has recommended them for that particular role.
Okay, that's a helpful explanation, but I didn't understand that was a leadership's understanding of interim, because interim to me means a duration, but
is.
does not at all imply any permanence. Interim is also an appointment, so.
Interim in our context doesn't, so if a principal's, you have principals on the last agenda or an agenda in June, they're in that role as interim. It doesn't mean that they will ultimately stay in there, but most of the time they will. As opposed to an acting, we didn't know this person left, they just retired over the break. We're putting them in the position. They may stay, they may not. Acting is kind of what happens in those short term.
Yeah, well, I defer to leadership on that, but interim doesn't, to me, infer anything different than acting. It seems like there's an idea or a culture that if you're interim, that you're going to get that job, and that's not something that I assumed. It sounds like
No.
that's the reason it was being eliminated, but that was
No.
not my perception of that role. But I'm fine with it in this policy. I just wanted to know, it was clear that it had been stripped out. I wanted to know what the reasoning was. And then on the retroactive pay was removed, the additional compensation, this is the third paragraph on the back page. Any additional compensation covers only the time of temporary assignment, will terminate at the time the employee is reassigned in the previous position. Oh, sorry. Second line. The effective date for said additional compensation would be retroactive to the first day of the employee was assigned to temporary duty. So we're not going back and giving them pay for that task on the day that we asked them to be acting?
Yeah, we will.
But that's deleted. That's why I'm asking. On my version, it's struck through, and I don't see another place where it says retroactive.
It's under the first paragraph, I think. Well, it does, but it's not as clear. Because that first paragraph is governed by the Office of Town Manager.
Okay, so my colleague is saying that she interpreted it to be lumped under that eligibility and compensation details will be governed by procedures established by the Office of Talent and Human Resources. But if I was a really talented person that you were recruiting to take on an additional temporary, not guaranteed role, I would want to know the policy says that I'm going to get paid for the very day that I started doing it.
Fair enough. We can work on that.
Practice, that's the
That's the
current practice,
practice.
so it doesn't come through, so we
Yeah,
can make that.
we can make that
update.
change.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Anyone else? Okay. Move on.
Thank you, sir. Moving on in your agenda, we do have an action item for the board. Item 6.06 is your 2026 calendar of Board of Education meetings. You'll see that in this particular calendar that we have a host of other meetings that have been included during this option for the board to adopt their meetings. However, your regular board of meetings typically follows its regular cadence. I will call out, however, that February is a little bit unique. You'll see the date recommended for February 18th. That is because February the 4th is Savannah-Chatham Day. February the 11th, there is a conflict where the board president and superintendent are traveling. So we do have flagged the February 18th, which is late in the month, and that, of course, impacts us a little bit for the March meeting in order to do a turnaround and ensure that agenda items are provided to the board. This agenda for the recommended meetings also follows a typical cadence of having 2 evening meetings. And then, of course, on the items that we have included in this action, we have included for the board recommended dates for a fall retreat, a spring retreat, a whole board governance training, and we also are asking that the board hold their calendars for a particular week of the year where we may, if needed, schedule fair dismissal hearings. Thus be it resolved that the Board of Education does now approve the 2026 calendar of board meetings.
It's been moved by Dr. Hassens-Brown, seconded by Reverend Smith. Yeah, and discussion, go ahead, Dr. Hassens-Brown.
Can I just say how awesome it is that that week for hearings has been put aside? I really appreciate
Thank you.
thinking in that way because I know we've struggled with that. So thank you for doing that.
Any other discussion? Yes, Ms. Grabowski.
Sorry, this is just a very minor. I see an asterisk, but before the board trainings, is that only to separate and distinguish them from the meetings?
Yes, that is an important component. We also want to draw the eye that the fact that the time for those are to be determined. We still will have to settle the times on those and announce them appropriately per Open Meeting Act's requirements. The March meeting, I do want to call out as we're talking about those. For the 26th and 27th dates for the board spring retreat, do recommend that on the timing of that one that the board would consider when those times are finalized, that the first day looks at a half-day component because it did happen to coincide on the 26th. That is an audit committee meeting in the morning. So you would have the audit committee, a half-day board retreat, and then full-day board retreat on the 27th.
Okay. This is just a very minor thing. Typically, when I see an asterisk, I'm looking for a footnote. So I'm always like trying to find the footnote, but that's just me, I guess.
We will footnote it upon approval so that we can share it with the public and ensure that that does not create confusion. Thank you.
Any other discussion? There being none, all in favor? you. None opposed? Thank you. Continue.
Thank you, sir. We have another action item. This is item 6.07, and you have a policy for second read adoption. Was a request to pull this one from consent, include it in Board of Education matters in our planning, in part because this is obviously a policy that has drawn a lot of attention, and it is broad scoping, impacts all of our school communities from elementary to middle and into high school as well. And this is your recommendation on the use of electronic devices by students, policy recommendation JCDAF, statutorily required to have the approval of this policy by January 1st, 2026. In doing so, we do want to make sure that the viewing audience understands the approval of this policy is that time frame as set by law, but the actual implementation of the policy and the operationalizing it will not occur until next school year. This policy has been previously reviewed by the board at the previous meeting, and based on feedback, some additional updates have been provided to include defined times when students in grades 9 through 12 may use personal electronic devices. Additional updates, including the definition of bell-to-bell for K-8 grades and personal devices, have been included. Thus be it resolved that the board does now approve policy JCDAF, use of electronic devices by students.
And this is not the second. This is not first and second reading.
This is an action item for the Board of Education, a second reader that the board would vote to approve. Yeah.
All right, I'll accept the motion. It's been moved by Ms. Grabowski, seconded by Ms. Hall, and I know there's discussion. Yes.
Just two clarification questions. In the first paragraph, where we're talking about elementary and middle school students, it says students in grades K through 8. It doesn't include pre-K?
We can make that update, but yes, it will include pre-K students who may bring their cell phones to school.
Hopefully we don't have any pre-K, but just, And then I think that there was a sentence that was added about midway through about bell-to-bell means, and I think that sentence needs some cleaning up. It just needs to be rephrased. It's reading, beginning with the first bell signaling the conclusion of the school day.
Yeah, that
And
was taken directly out of the statute, so that was a copy-paste.
Are you serious?
And I did want to clarify, too, K-8 references, as far as the definition, that is the law. So the extension of pre-K is beyond what the law requires, but I don't think that there's any pushback on that. It makes sense, obviously, from that standpoint. But the language is lifted from the statute, and that bell-to-bell definition is also lifted from the statute as written.
It reads, bell-to-bell means the period beginning with the first bell signaling the conclusion of the school day. That sentence makes no sense. Can we please check that?
Yeah, we'll check that.
Thank you.
We'll check that.
All right.
It sounds like a word may have fallen out. But that component, the definition of bell-to-bell is lifted from the way it's defined in the statute. We will go back and make sure that word for word it is lifted accurately and appropriately. Yeah.
Any other discussion? Ms. Campbell.
One last plug. So I support this. I think the goal of this is awesome, instructional focus in the classroom, but I do not see that the research shows a natural cutoff at 8th grade for instructional focus. So I do hope eventually we get 9th to 12th grade also involved. Feels a little bit like a partial policy as it stands, and I know this was mandated by the state, but I do hope at some point we will consider 9th to 12th as well.
Any other discussion? Ms. Grabowski.
I'll make one more plug that I know there was some pushback when I suggested this at the last meeting, but we currently allow our school administrators flexibility at the high school level as to what their cell phone policy is. I'll just make another loft at that we maintain that part of our current policy that allows that flexibility should a high school principal determine that at their school, it's bell to bell. But I know that that was not widely supported, but I'll just throw it out there for one more round of discussion.
And I'll just add that I appreciate that, but our principals really do want clarity.
Okay.
And they feel like the discretion puts them on uneven grounds in terms of support.
Okay, I appreciate that feedback. Thank you.
Dr. Hoskins-Brown.
I just wanted to respond. I understand the sentiment, and I understand some of the value that has been attributed to that, but I think it was at the Student Senate, when they came, said that they wanted it either everyone having the same policy or not having that policy. So
I can tell you, principals are clear that they want it to be consistent.
thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay. There being none, all in favor? All opposed? Got it. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Moving on your agenda, item 6.08, we do have a recommendation for a sale of property for the board's consideration today. This is a resolution for the sale of Thunderbolt property. The resolution approves the purchase and sale agreement between Tybee Island Charter School Incorporated, doing business as Tybee Island Maritime Academy, and the Board of Public Education for the City of Savannah and the County of Chatham. The board and TEMA have been in discussions concerning the purchase of this property, which was formerly used as the Thunderbolt Elementary School under tax ID number 30005090022. This sale does not amend or alter the existing charter agreement with TEMA. Parties agree for the sale of this property is for the use of the Tybee Maritime Charter School's currently authorized program. Stand by. Okay. So I just lost my computer. So we do have, as recommended, for the use of the charter as currently authorized by the Board of Public Education. Any changes going forward obviously would need to follow the board's established process for revisions to an established charter. This is a sale of property only, and the recommendation has been provided with an attachment which enumerates the terms of the agreement. And that term of agreement is under the SCC PSS TIMA 12825. Superintendent recommends the board, that the agreement be fully executed, and this agreement has been reviewed by the board attorney. Thus be it resolved that the board does now approve the purchase and sale agreement in form presented for the Thunderbolt Elementary property, and authorizes the officers of the board to execute the PSA and take any further actions they deem necessary or desirable to effect the transaction, including the execution of deeds or certificates and any amendments to the PSA in form or substance such officers deem appropriate, including any extensions thereto.
I'll accept a motion. It's been moved by Mr. Kaczmar, seconded by Ms. Hall. Discussion. Mr. Kaczmar.
I'm going to move to amend the resolution to authorize the superintendent and board council to discuss with the buyer's council the following amendment to the contract that explicitly notes that the sale does not amend or alter the existing charter agreement with TEMA, and that it's for the charter's currently authorized program, and that any future changes to the current charter agreement would have to go through the normal board approval process and approval process required by Georgia law.
Do I have a second for that, to the amendment? Okay. It's been seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? None? So we're now voting on the amendment. Okay? All in favor? Now we're going to vote on the motion as amended. All in favor? All right. Okay. Oh, we got another.
Thank you, sir. Moving along on your agenda, as we understand, a second read policy for school councils has been recommended to be pulled from consent and added to Board of Education matters. This is a second read, so the board will take action on the approval of this policy. We do remind the board that this particular policy was reviewed previously and the November meeting under the first read with recommended changes. Policy has been reviewed by the board attorney and the superintendent, was presented for first read, now is coming back for the board's second read and subsequent adoption. The revisions have refined the role of school councils and added some additional clarifying components to the roles of school councils and requirements of their action as a body which is required by law. One of the key components that was also revised in this process is the school council's role in reference to the appointment of a school principal when a vacancy arises. That language was proposed at the previous meeting, and there were no changes to the language as proposed, so it comes back to the board now for a second read adoption. Thus be it resolved that the board does now approve Board Policy BBFA, School Councils.
Accept a motion? Moved and seconded. Okay. Before we move on, we do have someone that had signed up to speak to this. Is Ms. Jackie Johnson here? She is not. If we have anyone else that wanted to speak to this subject. Okay. All right. All right. Discussion among us. Yes, Ms. Grabowski.
Having served as member of school council for many years, as I know others of us have as well, school councils are so valuable to the schools and to the administration, I think to all of the stakeholders. And I think with this change in policy, perhaps we could have done a little bit more to communicate proactively about the intent behind this change of policy. This is something that the superintendent has started kind of shifting the way that we are looking at our principal vacancies to really be a more holistic and inclusive approach. And so I would like to ask either Dr. Watts or Dr. Barnes, if you would provide a little bit of an overview about the intent of and how you envision still including school council and the community in principal search process.
And if Dr. Barnes is here, I'll actually defer to him because he directly leads this process. And then if I have anything to add, I'll do that after the fact.
Okay, so the school councils serve as a vital part in the decision-making in terms of their input when we hire principals. Equally, staff and parents that are not represented on the school council also have a great input in the leader that will be leading their schools. So the new process that we're rolling out, it allows staff to give input in which we bring the staff together and we have a structured protocol that we take them through the actual leadership competencies that principals will need to demonstrate in order to move their school and be a great fit for their school. Additionally, we use the Georgia leadership standards to ground those competencies in. Once we use that information, once we collect the information, it helps to drive how we screen applicants to make sure that they are the best fit for that school based off the needs of that school and the competencies that these leaders have demonstrated in other professional settings. We actually replicate that same process again with the community at large, in which we invite the school council along with other parents of the school and other community members to be a part of that discussion so that they can give their input. And so what this does is the school council only represents a portion of that community and that parent base. The process that we're rolling out, it is more inclusive to get a broader perspective of more parents and more people who are surrounded in that community, who make up that school community, so they can give input on the actual characteristics of what a strong leader could be for that school. And so what this does is, it does not exclude the school council from giving their input. It actually allows us to get greater input from more people. It does remove a separate interview process in which the school councils historically have done, and that is we have two interviews. We will have one that is conducted by the district, and then we will have one that's conducted by the school council. What this does is it streamlines that to have one interview process, and then our interview process at the district level is then guided by the input that we have collected from the staff as well as the community at large. And that's what we use to drive the actual interview questions and also to assess the candidate for who should be recommended for hire.
Thank you, Dr. Barnes.
And I will just say that that often can prevent an interview that takes place at the district level that yields a candidate, and the council coming with another candidate, and then me left having to reconcile the two processes, which can be very difficult to do as the superintendent when you have the council saying one person and the school leadership district at the district level asking for another candidate based on the interview, their interview.
Okay. Ms. Hall?
I also like that this clarifies the responsibility. The responsibility is on the district, so that going forward, anything that should occur, uncertainties to come out, we are responsible. We cannot make a school council responsible for anything. We are the responsible party. So that's why I'm happy to see this clarification.
I also like it because at the high school level, it invites students to the table, and I think that is often a stakeholder voice that is not represented in many things that we are deciding as a district. And so we've had a couple of examples where our students have weighed in on the profile, and that's been very exciting for me.
Ms. Campbell?
I appreciate, too, that it's so comprehensive, in its scope of who we ask for input from stakeholders. And I want to point out as well that after hearing from a lot of parents with concerns, that one thing that was taken out in this policy read today is when requested by the superintendent, because we know that you are very interested in hearing from just about anyone that wants to tell you how they feel, particularly if they disagree. But we're not guaranteed that you will always be our superintendent. So I think that was an important change to this, and I definitely support keeping school councils involved and having even more people involved. So it's almost like we're kind of adding to what already existed.
Anyone else? There being no more discussion, all in favor? Thank you very much.
That concludes your Board of Education matters for the December 17th Board of Education meeting, turning the agenda back to the board president for consent matters and other items in strategic priority 4.
I will accept a motion to accept our consent agenda.
So I would like to move that we approve the motion to amend the agenda with the addition of item 7.40, audit of charter committees.
What? What are we doing? I'm sorry? I'm sorry, I am really.
It's okay. We'll give it a minute. This is consent.
So
This is a procedural move of the board. The charter was reviewed during the audit committee that the board recently had on December 11th. It is a transactional item that should have been included in the consent agenda.
thank you.
We noted that it was not. We have added it, so the board technically has amended the agenda after it was posted.
Okay. Second. All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Wonderful. Hang on. Okay, we have a quorum. Here we go. All in favor? Yay. Okay. Thank you very much. Vice President. Okay. All right, here we go.
Good afternoon, everyone. The financials that were included in your packet this month are year-to-date through October 31st, and that is 1/3 of our fiscal year and 1/5 of the school year. For Fund 100, general fund revenues, our local property taxes are currently at 26% of our budget. And that's a little bit lower than where we were this same time last year. We were at 28% of the budget. Our total general fund actual revenues, we're at 29, almost 30% of our budget, and that compares to the total exactly where we were at the same time last year. Our general fund expenditures, actual expenditures for teachers are at 23% of the budget. Other supporting salaries, we're at 27%, which is where we would expect to be. Our total general fund actual expenditures, we're at about 31% of the budget, and that is also reasonable for this for this time of the year. At this time, we have nothing else to make note of on our other funds, but we can take questions if you have any significant concerns or about any of our funds.
Any questions? Nope. Nope. Thank you. Yes, I'm sorry.
Are you finished with your report? Okay. Since you represent the finance department for us, I'd like to give the board's gratitude for the 39 years of dedicated and loyal service to the district offered us by Mr. Larry Jackson, and wish him Godspeed in his retirement.
Thank you on behalf of Mr. Jackson, and I will relay the message.
Quarterly East Plus update.
I just didn't go as long as you did.
Now coming to the stage.
Y'all look amazing. Y'all look amazing.
Remember, 12 days of Christmas.
They look amazing.
Well, with that said, good morning or afternoon. We'll be briefing your East Plus update. You all have a copy of the program schedule. There really hasn't been any updates to the program as of yet. Your E3 budget, no updates other than 2025. And here's our upcoming activities for the next quarter. We anticipate the last 7 will be approved today.
Wait. I don't believe STEM is on the agenda today, correct?
No, STEM is not.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
The last three.
Okay.
Once across elementary school.
Yeah, STEM was in the
Fuller
last
tra-
7. I was like,
I
wait a
tried to
minute.
slide those extra ones in there.
Just making sure you're on your toes.
That's right. No, we have a couple of design professional awards we'd like to get through today.
All right, and we'll go ahead and jump into the updates of each project. Windsor Forest is more or less where we're at CIC. We're still in that, the existing gymnasium rolling through, making sure that it is updated and ready to go and will look brand new once we return. The demolition has more or less occurred there, and we are going through restrooms, cleaning up floors, redoing floor, tile, lights. Jump through. J.G. Smith also rolling on. Right now, they are putting their stud walls up, going through. The rough-in overhead is nearly complete. All of the foundations and moving towards a slab pour for the cafeteria.
With this one, it's completely gutted out on the inside, and they're moving along with this one.
Okay, we have a question. Mr. Kowalski?
On Jacob G. Smith, is that still the correct schedule, or are we?
As of right now, our contractor has sent an updated schedule as early as this morning.
Okay.
And they are still tracking that schedule.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Until we hear otherwise, that's what we're going with.
Fantastic. Thank you.
The Islands High School complex, we will still be scheduled to have the bleachers complete and the press box functional by the first soccer game on February 6th. The restroom building and the new field house will begin after the completion of the bleachers. And that will be ready for the end of summer for the following football year.
For the Georgetown K renovation, again, they have completely gutted out from the inside out. The rough-in for the restrooms are ongoing. The schedule is currently on track. We've been working with the general contractor. We had some hiccups with some permitting at the beginning of construction. We're working directly with them to ensure that they're on track. Hubert Middle School renovations, we had an opportunity to go out and speak with the community a couple of weeks ago. Did not have many questions from the community. I know there were some concerns about whether we were going to move them out or keep them on site. But we believe that by the end of the community meeting, all hearts and minds were clear.
Dr. Hoskins-Brown.
Thank you. That was a really productive meeting, and I appreciate all the work that the team put into making sure that the community was able to get some feedback. One of the questions that I got about being on site versus using a swing site, which was kind of a popular question at that meeting, but was resolved by staff answers, was that the disruption that would come during the renovations, during the classroom renovations. And so one of the questions that I have been asked since that meeting is whether or not the changes to the classrooms would be scheduled over the summer to minimize the disruption that they mentioned occurred when the cafeteria was built while school was in session. And that was one of the reasons that there was a question about portables. So is that classroom modification work going to happen primarily in between sessions to avoid, is that part of the scheduling and coordinated work that's mentioned in your slide?
Right, so we're planning on using the CMR for this one, and once the CMR comes on board, they will provide a schedule for us, and once they provide that schedule, we'll be able to answer that question much more effectively. Right now, we're planning on conducting the majority of the construction during the 2 summers, 2026 and 2027. Okay. The conversation about the modulars is not off the table, but right now, we believe that we will be able to get it done during those 2 summers. We will be able to provide a much better answer once the CMR gets on the ground.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you. They'll be glad to hear that modulars are not off the table if they're found to be necessary. And there was some talk about kind of carting some teachers for some of the work, for some of the instruction, but I think Dr. Watts, you and I were talking about some things are not movable, like band and music and that sort of thing. So if there is a need for a modular classrooms, is that already in the contingency project budget, or is that something that we would have to identify?
I don't have that question for you right. I don't have that answer for you right now, but I will take it back.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
And just to clarify, CMR means construction management at risk.
Manager at risk, as opposed to general contractor.
Yes, Ms. Hall.
Another item that came up at that meeting was the fact that Hubert has a very exciting camp every summer. So I wanted to alert Mr. Butler. Dr. Barnes was there, though, to make sure that that camp can be accommodated in some other fashion so that it can go on even though it can't be on campus.
Right. We've already identified all of the schools that will have construction taking place this summer, and so we'll work directly with Mr. Butler and Dr. Barnes to ensure that that everyone has that list.
Very good. Thank you.
For the alternative learning center renovations, we pushed we had a lot of questions. We had a lot of questions that came in from our contractors when we went through with the pre-bid. So we did push that for another few weeks to be able to get all of those questions answered. We believe what that's going to do is it's going to give us a much better bid from our contractors once they come in January. It will not push as of right now, it will not push the construction at all. We believe that it'll actually give us more time with construction.
Yeah, so Garden City Elementary is with the SSOE, our architect. Right now, they're in the schematic design phase of work. They've created a program for that school and are working with our project manager on continuing on the design.
I'm sorry.
Yes, Ms. Grabowski.
Can I go back to the Alternative Learning Center? I had asked this question once before about the site itself has some terrible drainage issues. Are we addressing that, I hope, through this renovation?
Yes, so I would have liked to have had this out on the street a long time ago, but we really took some extra time to make sure that we had all of the civil taken care of in our design. We went back and had all of the lines cambered. We wanted to preserve the terrazzo that's in the school. Unfortunately, we will not be able to do that because we just found out that the plumbing is just not, we won't be able to salvage it. So we took a lot of time.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was talking about the storm drainage, the exterior.
We've also looked at the storm drainage as well, both interior and exterior, and I don't think that there's going to be any issues.
Okay, so the design for the site will help to mitigate, because it has standing water during a heavy rain all around the school. So
Let me make sure I'm answering your question
when
directly.
it rains, stormwater, we're addressing the stormwater.
We are. We're addressing the stormwater on that site in our civil, yes.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
All right, Gamble Road, our maintenance and transportation renovations. GMC is the architect. We have recently come out with, obviously that's on the board agenda today, and we are hoping to move forward with our phase one on that quickly. Our final phase, which is our storage building and actual maintenance facility, we are in the programming phase right now with them. Some project updates, just a few of our other projects going on is the HVAC at Woodville-Tompkins and Allens High School. Woodville-Tompkins was awarded a couple months ago and is now, equipment has been ordered and we're tracking there. Allens High School is about halfway complete now. There's a significant amount of work that will go on over the holiday break. to start the wrapping up portion of that project. Port Wentworth, the administrative annex facility, we are working on finalizing a couple of our numbers for the additional, the gymnasium component for campus police, but our human resources and our academic affairs departments actually had their furniture show up this week. So they're cruising on, and they should be in there at the beginning of the year. We do have these roof replacements that are also ongoing, several of them finishing up or will be finishing up shortly. And then our E5 projects, as we know, we had our initial design kickoff meeting with Hussey Gay Bell on West Chatham this week. Just a kind of quick overview of what is desired, what we're looking at, and we'll be deep diving into individual meetings with each department soon to create a programming list for that facility. 2A Bowl, we have the RFP making its way around, making sure that we have the correct terminology for exactly who we want and how we want to focus and who we want to focus on. Windsor Forest, Pooler, and Ellis. Dre tried to sneak STEM in there, but we'll be looking at those three to come out today. And the first of the year we have already scheduled, so fingers crossed, but we're already getting going with our architects and hoping that we can really kickstart those the day we get back. And,
I'm sorry, Mr. Kachmar.
I just wanted to ask clarification. So my understanding is we're using architects from our on-call list to kickstart some of these early projects, but the intent for the vast majority of our E5 projects is to put them out to bid rather than just go from our pre-approved on-call list. Is that accurate?
I would say that it's accurate for the most part, yes. We have, for a lot of our renovation projects, projects that we have folks on our on-call list that are familiar with those projects that are not too detailed. If we're replacing ceiling tiles and floors, that's not too involved. But for some of our larger projects, we will be putting those out to bid to architects.
And I'll further elaborate. So yes, that is an accurate statement. As Dre spoke about, any small minor pieces, we will still use the on-call. But for large E5 projects or East Lost 5 projects, including the renovations, new builds, things like that, we fully intend to put those out for RFP or through the traditional bid process.
Thank you.
all right, just wrapping it up here, Pulaski K, we do have the modulars going in. We are working with the fire marshal to make sure we can use those the day students come back. Savannah Arts, our gymnasium is still complete, and our audio enhancement is ongoing and will keep going, and we have a hard date coming up that we will make.
By the end of June.
At least in June.
Ms. Hall.
I hope I'm not going to have a press conference at Savannah High School, but I'd like to have some sort of report on my softball fields.
Yes, ma'am. So the high school baseball and softball field, the project is ongoing. Right now, we are finishing up the construction documents on that project. I'm waiting on the estimate from our contractor. I had a conversation with purchasing. We believe that we will be able to use a state contract for the baseball and softball fields, which will save us some time on bidding, because the one contractor that is there is the one that's done many of our fields before. So right now, we're finishing up our construction design documents, and then I'll get the team together so we can all look through it together before we move forward with the contract.
Well, is there some reason, Mr. Jones, that it's not listed under other projects? I get a little nervous that I don't see it at all.
It was an oversight on my part. I'll make sure it's there next time.
Oh, I see. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
No press conference.
We're dressed for it.
Careful what you ask for.
Any other questions?
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
gentlemen.
Let's give them a hand. They look so
All right. Okay, of course it goes down again.
Item number 8.03, furniture, fixture, and equipment for J.G. Smith Elementary School. On April 9th, the board approved an extension of the annual contracts for district-wide furniture, fixture, and equipment, bid C-19-05 and RFP C-23-01 for Mason, Inc. and Georgia Specialties, LLC. The bids were approved using the vendors as detailed on the agenda item. The funding source for this item is renovation number 445006, one of the accounts. Thus be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent that the board approve the purchase of furniture, fixture, and equipment for J.G. Smith Elementary School for FF&E using bid C-19-05 and RFP C-23-01 district-wide FFE contracts, Masons, Inc. and Georgia Specialty Equipment, and statewide contracts using HNI Workplace, Kimball's, OFS, Kruger International, Hale, and OFC brands, as well as the Omni contract with TENJAM for the purchase of J.G. Smith Elementary School FF&E. The estimated cost of the furniture is $818,118.34.
Mr. Kachmar, so moved. Seconded by Mrs. Smith. Any discussion? All right, there being no discussion, all in favor? Wonderful. Thank you.
Item number 8.04, RFP C-26-05, CMR Services for Gamble Road Projects. The Purchase Department received requests for proposal from 11 offers in response to RFP C-26-05 CMR Services for Gamble Road Projects. The intent of the solicitation was to establish a contract for construction management at-risk services for the Gamble Road projects, consisting of a new restroom and office building, new refueling stations, refurbished sites and parking lots, renovations to the maintenance facilities, and new storage buildings. Administrative review was conducted, and all 11 vendors' responses were deemed responsive and responsible. After the committee evaluation of the RFP responses, a follow-up interview was conducted with the 3 highest score offerers: Balfour Beatty Construction, LLC, Carroll Daniel Construction, and Reeves Youngs, LLC. Staff now recommends that the RFP C-25-05 CMR Services for Gamble Road Projects be awarded to Reeves Young, LLC, with an initial stated cost limitation not to exceed $20 million. The funding source for this is eSPLOST 5 funds. Thus be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent that the board approve the award of RFP C-26-05 eSPLOST CMR services for Gamble Road projects to Reeve Young LLC with an initial stated cost limitation not to exceed $20 million.
I'll accept that. Thank you. Mr. Kachmar, seconded by Ms. Campbell. Discussion? Yes, Ms. Grabowski.
This is not in particular to this project, but at one time we had talked about receiving additional information about the bids when we were presented with the reports, including the bid score sheets or just some, and I think actually Ms. Davidson had presented a template that you were going to start using for when we receive this. Is that in the
So-
near future, we'll start seeing that information?
I do hope that we can provide that information. My understanding is it can be provided after due to procurement laws and rules on how long I could be. Mr. Deacle?
There you are.
Yes, Ms. Grabowski, with respect to all of the evaluation information that goes into the decision, that is generally maintained confidential until the award is made, so that if the award were not approved, the solicitation was canceled, that an alternative solicitation could be had without revealing all of that information to the general public for a future solicitation to maintain the competitive nature of the process or a future process. That may be something we could discuss arranging an executive session in future things as a legal matter.
I think that would be, I mean, I'd be curious to see if the rest of the board, but I think that would be helpful. This is a lot of money when we award these projects, and having, I think for us as a board, understanding a little bit more about the recommendations that are coming to us from staff would be really helpful. So, thank you.
Dr. Hoskins Brown.
Thank you. Mr. Deacle, don't go anywhere yet.
He was like,
So I appreciate that answer, and I understand the processes that I understand from what you said that leadership is trying to preserve the greatest amount of flexibility in their procurement process. But that's not how we used to do it. We used to get a packet of review material, and if it was the case that it needed to go back out, then we had to just approve another RFQ or RFP, and it went that way. So is what you're saying that we have eliminated that process of getting that material so that we don't have to go through the rigor of re-advertising?
I'm not aware of specific discussions about any changes to the previous process or future processes. I'm just suggesting that if the question is, should that information be posted publicly as part of the board agenda, generally, I would advise against doing that. I would recommend that information being presented in executive session. And I think internally process ways, we can discuss ways to make sure that gets to you. But what we wouldn't want to do is have all of that information necessarily be publicly available before your vote. Case your vote is to reject the contract and renegotiate it or do a new process, that the information that vendors submitted is not available to everybody for a second round.
I understand what the sentiment is right now. What I'm trying to figure out is, when did we change it and on what basis? Because it's not like it's something we never did. We used to do it, and somebody decided to stop doing it. So who decided that, and what was the reasoning beyond what you're saying?
I can't answer the specific questions as to when that change may have occurred. I don't know if other staff have some insight.
Mr. Kachmar.
So when we got it, it was never part of the public docket before we voted. It was communicated as part of board information, like we would get student discipline reports and things like that. So I don't think it was ever part of the board docket itself. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was executive content.
Yeah, and then early on, we used to get a lot of challenges, and then the voting and the scoring would become a public issue. So I think that's how we got it. I could be wrong, but I think it was executive content, not public before the vote. I don't know what was in the minutes after the vote. I don't know if the scoring was there or not. And I recall, I mean, some of us have been on the board 14 years. We've been asking to have consistent information in these materials for 14 years. Sometimes we get some things, sometimes we don't. That's a separate discussion. So I don't remember we're going to have it in every contract award moving forward. Typically, it's when somebody asks, or that's how it's kind of been in the past. But we can certainly, I think we need legal guidance on what we can do and can't do, and then we'll just set a board policy, and then nobody will have to wonder what we should do next board meeting.
Well, I'd like to pull, this information is in board docs. I'd like to pull what we've gotten in the past and for someone to say why we're not getting that, because our legal counsel has been consistent, our process has been kind of consistent. So I either want to learn and be educated that what we were doing was woefully wrong and we don't need to do that, or something else. But this lives in board docs. This is, we have that. We have the submissions and the rankings and the rationale, because part of the discussion was why you didn't just take the lowest bid for something. And that content often said, well, these were the other things that were considered.
There's probably also a distinction made between bids that may be publicly opened, where the rankings and those things are known subject to subsequent staff review to make sure that they're responsive and responsible, and an RFP proposal where that process is sort of ongoing, and there's not the receipt of the proposals is registered, but all the contents are not publicly. So there may be a distinction there. I would suggest that perhaps with Ms. Davidson that we discuss a way to, and the purchasing department discuss process for making sure y'all have that information properly presented with items that are confidential and executive, presented executive content, and things that have already been publicly opened may be made part of the public record. And then just because there's also, once the solicitation is completed, then certainly those records are public records that are made available for inspection.
So, because I wasn't here, are you saying that that information was given to you guys before the decision or after the decision? So, why do you have a purchasing department?
Is there still a staff recommendation?
Yeah, it's a separate.
And I'm not, and to be clear, I'm not asking that we receive copies of the proposals at all. Not copies of just a summary score sheet of why the team that is recommended for approval, why that team, do they have the most experience? Where are they? What are the strengths of that? So no, to be clear, I do not want to see proposals. I don't think any of us need to see proposals.
And I may have misunderstood your question, because that's how I initially interpreted it. So it may be that some additional summary content or memo would be appropriate.
Yes.
And that can be reviewed for preserving the process.
Okay, sorry I was not more clear, and we can have sideboard conversations afterwards.
All right. So, any more discussion on this one? All right. All right. All in favor? Wonderful. Keep going.
Item number 8.05, RFQ C24-09, eSPLOS Geotechnical Engineering, Special Inspection and Materials Testing, Annual Contract, Second Renewal. On December 6, 2023, the board approved the award of RFQ C24-09 eSPLOS Geotechnical Engineering Special Inspections and Material Testing. On February 5th, 2025, the board approved the first renewal. Staff now recommends exercising the second final renewal option within all terms and conditions remaining the same. The estimated annual expenditure for this renewal period is $2,500,000. The funding source for this is eSPLOS funds and Fund 308 capital projects. The funding sources will vary depending on the different projects. Thus, be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent that the board approve the second and final renewal of RFQ C24-09 eSPLOS Geotechnical Engineering Special Inspection and Materials Testing Annual Contract to the following vendors: Contour Engineering, ESS Southeast LLP, Goodwin Mills, Calwood LLC, Terracon Consultants, Whitaker Laboratories, and WSP USA Environment and Infrastructure, Inc., for an estimated cost of $2,500,000.
Moved by Ms. Grabowski, seconded by Dr. Howard Hall. I mean, not Howard Hall, Dr. Hoskins Brown. All right, any discussion? Wonderful. All in favor?
Item number 8.06, RFQ 25-03, on-call civil, structural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, environmental engineering, and surveying services annual contract, first renewal. On October 14th, 2024, the board approved the award of RFQ C25-03 eSPLOS on-call civil, structural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, environmental, engineering, and surveying services. Staff recommend exercising the first renewal option with all terms and conditions remaining the same for the period of December 18th, 2025 through December 17th, 2026. The estimated annual expenditure for the first renewal period is $5 million. The funding sources for these projects will be eSPLOS and Fund 308 capital projects. Thus be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent that the board approve the first renewal of RFQ C25-03 eSPLOS on-call civil, structural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, environmental, electrical, and surveying services annual contract to the following vendors: Chatham Engineering, Delory, Weeks, Galileana, ESC Southeast, EMC Engineering Services, Goodwin Mills, Callwood, Hugsy, Gay, Bell, and DeYoung, Method Engineering Group, LLC, Moffett and Nicole, Inc., MSSA-PBK doing business as Leaf Engineers, Pond and Company, and Thomas and Hutton Engineering, for a total estimated cost of $5 million.
Moved by Mr. Smith, seconded by Dr. Hoskins Brown. Discussion? All right, all in favor?
Item number 8.07, RFP 24-7, staff laptop refresh, Ari Jones. The Office of Technology and Business Systems seek approval to proceed with the utilization of RFP 24-07 awarded to Ari Jones for the acquisition of 1,400 HP laptops. This purchase is intended to replace outdated staff devices district-wide and will support the maintenance of the established 5-year refresh cycle. The funding source for this would be eSPLOST 4 funds. Thus, be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent that the board approve the refresh purchase of 1,400 HP laptops from Ari Jones using RFP 24-07 in the amount of $1,077,454.
Yes.
I move that we combine items 8.0, 8.07, and 8.08, the staff laptop refresh to Ari Jones, and the iPad refresh purchase for students as one motion.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Wonderful. Thank you.
I move that we approve items 8.07 and 8.08 for the purchases of staff and student laptops.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion? No. All in favor? Thank you.
Item number 8.09,
Yes.
RFQ 25-C25-04, on-call design professional services annual contract first renewal. On October 18th, 2024, the board approved the award of RFQ 25-04, on-call design professional services annual contract. Staff recommends exercising the first renewal option with all terms and conditions remaining the same. The annual estimated expenditure for this first renewal period is $30 million. The funding source for this is eSPLOST funds along with Capital Projects 308. Thus, be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent that the board approve the first renewal of RFQ C25-04, on-call design professional services annual contract to Barnett Architects, Brian Felder and Associates, CDH Partners, Codgill and Meldrill Architect, Croft and Associates, Goodwin Mills, Caldwell, Greenline Architect, Hugsy Gray Bell, LS3P Associates, Pond and Company, Raymond Engineering, and SSOE Inc. for the total estimated expenditure of $30 million.
Moved by Dr. Hoskins-Brown, seconded by Ms. Grabowski. Any discussion? All in favor? Take the last one off. Janitorial services? It's okay.
I apologize.
No. No, it's not, oh, was it? Oh, they may have duplicated it.
Is there another?
No.
8 point. No. Do we have it? No, I didn't see it. I don't.
No, your last item under goal 4 was 8.09, on-call design professional services. The janitorial
Oh,
services
there's
was
not
already
an eight-
approved
there's
under
not-
consent.
There's not an 8.10?
8.10 is a recommendation on attendance boundary changes for Western Chatham County.
Oh, okay, I've got a different one, okay.
In the paper copy of it, the janitorial services are 8.1.
Yeah,
Yeah. And the online content has
Got
been
it.
modified.
Yeah, modified. The amount came in on that one under the threshold and what we were anticipating. It was 500,000 is what the recommendation went, so it went to consent.
Okay, so the next thing on our, thank you very much. The next thing on our agenda then is boundary changes and who's gonna, no, they have? Yes.
Oh,
Yes. No, she has to present it. We have to talk about it, and that's what we introduced. Yes. Okay.
All right, so good afternoon. So, what was presented to you in advance was a recommendation to move forward with a resolution for attendance boundary realignment for school year 26 and 27. It was for the East Side Corridor for middle schools, transitioning some students from Hubert Middle School over to Myers Middle School, and then for boundary changes in Western Chatham County that would help ensure that we're meeting our E5 timelines and to deal with space efficiency, travel time on the bus, and other strengthened feeder pattern opportunities. So, thus be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent. Sorry, my computer now has failed. That the board approved the recommended attendance boundary modifications affecting Bloomingdale Elementary School, Pooler Elementary School, West Chatham Elementary School, West Chatham Middle School, New Hampstead K-8, Myers Middle School, and Hubert Middle School, as described and detailed in the recommended boundary maps. These changes further the district's goals to optimize facility usage, improve transportation efficiency, and ensure equitable access to high-quality educational environments.
Thank you. Dr. Hoskins Brown.
I move that this item be placed on, I move that we lay this on the table, that this be tabled.
Table this
Yeah.
item?
Second.
Table this
Me
item.
talk good one day.
Lay it on the table. Okay, it's been moved by Dr. Hoskins Brown, seconded by Ms. Campbell. Any discussion?
There's no discussion on it.
Okay, that's right. We're tabling. Okay,
So you vote on the table, but you don't discuss the table item.
right. Okay, so all in favor of tabling this? Okay. Okay. No. All opposed to tabling it? Who's? Oh, you didn't raise your hand. Let's do it again. All in favor? Raise your hand high. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you. Okay. All right, we are now at appearances. We have two people here today, I think. Ms. Gina Smith. Thank you, and you'll have 2 minutes. Is it 2 or 3? I'm sorry, 3 minutes.
Okay, thanks. So that's my graduate from Johnson. He's excited that I'm speaking. Thank you so much. This isn't an easy process for me, and I am a parent who has graduated a kid from Johnson High School who has also participated in the Macy's Day Parade. So you guys, props to the board, props to the county, and I believe tomorrow is 159 years that this board has been in place. So I'm blessed and honored to be here today.
And I wasn't here then.
So I'm here really to just also share positive things and thank you for the opportunity to present. And then, unfortunately, I do have a middle child who is currently enrolled at a school within the system, and I just want to be very humble about this process. I'm here to present positive, but also express some negative things as well as a parent, but it comes from a humble and grateful place. And I didn't know how the process works or who I should reach out to, but I kind of felt isolated as a parent to this in particular high school to be open to share that with them. So part of your mission statement, and I'm almost finished, is Together We Ignite, Foster Lifelong Learning at the highest levels for all. Unfortunately, my son falls into that mental health bracket. He did graduate from Georgetown K through 8, and my son is cringing as he's watching all these things happen over there as well, but happy with the renovations. And since that graduation, whom he's not here, he is struggling with that. And he is not as fortunate as Jeremiah to maneuver through academic progress without special education services, and I have utilized that. However, at this time as a parent, I do feel failed. And it's not easy for me to say that. You guys are all articulated individuals who got this down pat, and I'm grateful that you represent the county of Chatham. But I am going to leave cards so that if you do want to find out more and know more about my concerns, please feel free to reach out to me. I don't have the form. Tamika, whoever you are, thank you so much. Me and my son were like, it's time to go. I got to get meet Will Finn. I got to go back to work. He's like, you're next. And so that's why he was really excited. So I'm grateful. God bless. Happy holidays to all. And I'll leave like 12 cards here so you guys can reach out.
Please.
Okay? Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ms. Bryant.
Good afternoon. I want to begin with peace. The light that each of us carries. Unity is built when voices are heard, not silence. Silence allows darkness to grow. When we speak with courage, truth rises. I stand before you today, not as an adversary, but as a parent who believes deeply in public education, accountability, and the rule of law. I stand on the wisdom of Elizabeth Betty Savage, who raised generations of children and taught me to document, not argue, stand firm, compromise when possible, and always work together for the greater good. Over the past year, I experienced limitations on communication and access without written notice, without appeal rights, and without reference to board-approved policy. As a parent, I have seen how silence and delay do not remain abstract. They affect a child's sense of safety, stability, and ability to function of learning. Policy exists to protect every student, parent, and educator alike. When informal practices replace formal policies, families are left uncertain about their rights. I have also been told that staff discomfort justifies delays or restrictions. Respectfully, discomfort is not the law. Georgia law, OCGA 19-7-5, does not allow discretion to replace mandated responsibility. I am concerned that protected advocacy, public participation may have contributed to retaliatory treatment, even as this morning. I have asked respectfully to clarify consistent transparency so trust can be restored and all families are treated equally. I believe in this district. I believe in educators. And I believe that when we choose the light, our silence, we all can protect all our children. Thank you. And again, my full name is Mrs. Angelisa Savage Bryant. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
I will now accept a motion to adjourn. Been moved, seconded, third. Yes. Congratulations, that was our last board meeting of 2025.
I'm clapping it up.
Happy holidays, guys.